Yo, so I'm doing this 30-day Ramadan, basically videos of how to trade from the basics of it and what we're looking for every trade. And we're going to start off with really, really basic stuff just for people to understand how you're supposed to look at the market and what each step of the market really is saying. And I'm going to start off today basically just talking about what a candlestick is and what trends are and how to know what trend you're in and how to know what a breakup structure is. So, just some very, very beginner level stuff. I'm going to use some key terminology. I'm going to explain the key terminology to you guys. Um, and other than that, really, this is more so for myself than anyone else. Is making sure that I can give something or do something that kind of makes sense. So anyone else that's struggling to learn how to trade, and I also want to teach the discipline factor of it, of how I trade and why I trade the way I trade. All right, so let's first start off with what a candlestick is. Okay, guys? If you guys have ever seen a chart before, right? That is the worst candlestick ever. But there are candlesticks everywhere, right? And a better example, maybe, if I can do it correctly here, is to show you guys what a real life candlestick looks like right here. Okay? You guys see this? This is what you call a candlestick, right? Now, a candlestick is a war. Now, why is it a war? Because it's a war between buyers and sellers. So let's look at this candlestick right here. Now, there right here are people that are pushing this candlestick down, right? That's the worst arrow ever. But then there's also people that are pushing this very candlestick up. Now, how is that happening in real time? There are people that are shorting, right? Selling the S&P 500, and there's people that are buying the S&P 500, right? And how do we know what is the value of the S&P 500 at that moment is that whoever wins, the candlestick is going to form in their motion, right? So right now we see that this candlestick was going down. It means there was more people selling than buying at this moment, right? Same thing here. You can see all the way here, this candlestick, a lot of people sold, but then there were buyers fighting the war as well. And we're just going to make this a little more appealing to the eyes. And there were people pushing it up. So as this candlestick was pushing down, there were people pushing the candlestick up. So it formed this little index candle right here, this digi candle, that's what they call it. I don't know. I'm not too good with the names of everything. I kind of just know what they do, right? So now that we know what a candlestick is, what are two candlesticks in a pattern, right? So here we see that price was moving down, right? Now we see that price started moving up. All right. That means that it was in a downtrend, right? So this is kind of what a trend is now that we're using this lingo. So if this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, that means that we're in an uptrend. So the reason for that is that we have a high here, then we have a higher high here, and it's going to go on to form a higher high later on. And then we have lows, a higher low, and then an even higher low. So if that was going to break, it would be somewhere here then, right? So then that is a trend. All right. So now how can we use this in practice right now? Okay. So you guys can see the S&P was going up, went down. Here, let's delete all this stuff so you guys can see a little better on what I'm trying to illustrate here. So we can see that the S&P was moving up, shot down, went up again, shot down, went up again, shot down. Now we have a higher high. Then we go all the way down where the candle closes, right? We can see that it was a lower low, so it broke structure at that time, right? It broke structure right here when it passed this candlestick right here, if you guys can see that. As soon as that this individual candlestick, right, broke this individual candlestick, then we broke structure. Why? Because now our candle close is below the previous candle high. So this is still a low. That means we're still trending down. And then when this candlestick, because you're only supposed to look at if there's a red candle, then the nearest green candle. Okay? And I'll tell you why this kind of works. Okay? Now, if I'm moving up here, right, that means that we have an uptrend. But if we're in an uptrend, we can't break structure to the uptrend again, right? That just means we're in an uptrend. So if I have this green candle that broke structure with this red candle, right? That means I'm in an uptrend. So if this green candle forms, I haven't broken structure to the upside. I'm still on an uptrend. Does that make sense? So higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Okay. Now the opposite, because for everything there is also an opposite, right? Now we're here, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now we're going to look at this. We have a high. First, we have a low. Okay. And then we have a high. Okay. We have a lower low. We have a higher, lower high. Lower low, lower high. Lower low, lower high. Then we're going to have lower low again. Right? So you guys see how that works? So let me show you in the S&P if we go to, let's say, 4 hour, right? Ooh, remove alternative drawings. Okay, cool. There's a lot of in the market. You guys see these gaps as well. I'm gonna go over these gaps, but basically, well, when we let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just talk about this right now. Okay, cool. Higher high, lower low. Lower high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then structure got broken. Okay, you guys see that? How it's just lower, lower. You see how there's a trend? Follow the trend, guys. Do not trade against the trend. I cannot stress that enough. Trading against the trend is a recipe for disaster. Have a strategy, and we're going to build up on the strategy from basically the top down. But right now, I want to kind of go back to a candlestick, right? A candlestick can tell you a lot. It actually can. So if I have this one candlestick, right? Individual candlestick. Now let's say the wick is high. So this is what you call a wick. That means that it didn't close there, right? But it price did go up to this point at one point, right? And then you have a low here. And then you can see the candlestick after that is starting to form on a low trend, right? That means there's another wick here, but now all of a sudden we're going lower, right? Now, to some of you guys, it might be, oh, why is it going higher right here, and then we're seeing that price is going down? Wouldn't wouldn't the buyers win, right? Because they're pushing price up compared to the sellers. Well, That's why candlesticks are so key. And that's why you have to really understand all the different types of candlesticks, and you need to understand the pattern that the candlesticks are forming in. Because you can have this, and then all of a sudden you can have a big ass candlestick going up right here with a tiny ass wick and a fat ass wick on this side, right? The only way that I can really teach you guys this is later on when we talk about liquidity sweeps, what they represent. But I just want you guys to go out and look for candlesticks where it's saying that it's going up, but then the trend is pushing down. Or it can say that the trend is pushing down, right? The candlestick, the wick is pushing down, but then the trend is all of a sudden pushing up. That's something I really want you guys to look into. Okay, go out there, look for examples on the S&P, on gold, on silver, on whatever you guys want to trade, right? But understand what a candlestick is. What does a candlestick represent, right? If you do the work, it's going to make sense. If you just come and watch these videos and not put in the work, then this will never make sense to you, okay? Something else I want to show you guys. Really, for now, we have the trends and we have the candlesticks. Okay. Now, as far as trends go, this is a trend right here. Trends aren't always going to be so beautiful. Okay. I'm going to show you a real life example of this. Remove all 14 drawings. Okay. You guys see this right here, this individual, these three candles? It doesn't have to be a three candle structure, but it can just be a two candle structure. This is a trend right now. This is a downtrend, right? Because what? We had a high, a low, a higher high, right? And then structure got broken because now we have a higher low. Okay? Reconsolidated, market's kind of staying at the same place. Then we have a higher high. Then we have a higher low. So this is the way the pattern goes. It's a two stick pattern. Okay, guys? Now, for day one, this is all I really wanted to talk about. I will come back tomorrow and we will go in more depth. All right? Peace out. Ramadan Mubarak to everyone, the ones that are celebrating or the ones that are partaking. And this is our Ramadan mission. We're going to be speaking a lot about basically trading patterns, psychology, and basically how God above everything. Okay, guys? I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out for now.